Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the second tier list of my channel. This time it's going to be about Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail men's. If I scroll up you can see I have Honkai Star Rail male characters at the top. This is going to be pretty similar to my Genshin Impact tier list. The one based on if I would romantically be with them, you know. This one's going to be a little bit different from that one though, where I am keeping some of the same tiers. I have changed them. If you watched the first one, you probably can tell. If you recall, or if you don't know, I tried to do a first tier list that I called realistic. I was also saying that with a grain of salt, like take that with a grain of salt. It was not realistic, but I was thinking in terms of if I didn't know anything about these men and I was dropped into the world of Teyvat and met them, how likely would I actually marry them, go out with them, not go out with them? And I'm keeping an element of that for this one, but I think when you look at some of the tiers and where I'm gonna put some of the characters, you'll realize like, oh, she's a little insane. I think I have all the male characters. Well, let's ignore Berkut from Fire Emblem. He's in my picture folder. I probably just shift-clicked him into here with some of the other characters. I'm gonna keep him at the bottom though, just because I think that's funny. I love Berkut from Fire Emblem, but he is not a Star Rail character, as you can tell. So I guess we'll go through the tiers. I have the first one, which is Hand in Marriage. These are characters I could for sure see myself marrying. Not delusional at all. But based on like their personality, my personality, their character, their wants in life compared to mine, those will be the characters I put up in here if we have a lot in common, and I think it would just work out really well. Like, these are also probably gonna be some of my favorite characters as well, on top of the layer of I think it would actually work out. And then I have this one, I can see it working out. These are characters who I'm gonna say I can kind of see it going either way. Either we are in a romantic relationship, get married, or we just remain as friends, you know? Tier 3 is called I Have Some Concerns. There are a few specific characters that if I met them in real life, I don't think I could see myself getting together with them just because of their own personality quirks, tendencies. Tier 4 is not my type, but we can be friends. This is the same as the one I had in my Genshin Impact tier list. These are characters who even if they're very nice people and I like them, I can't see it being anything more than friends. Like, for me, they're just not my type. The next tier list is I'm interested, he's not. There are some characters who I could see myself, if I was in the universe of Honkai Star Rail, being interested in, but then they have like their own priorities and they would not be interested in me as a result. So yeah. Second to last tier is he scares me a little. There are some characters in this game that I do very much love, and in game I'm not like actually scared of them, but I think if I met them in real life I would be very intimidated by them and I probably would not even want to talk to them, or I'd be too afraid to like carry on a conversation or approach them. And then last tier is my son. This is reserved for characters who I think are too young, who strike me as under the age that I would date. I'm not gonna say like under the age of 18, because even for me, like 18-year-olds, that's too young. I'm 25, okay? I'm old, not really, but okay, so without further ado, I have the characters here. Hopefully they're easier to see this time than in my Genshin one. I tried to zoom in. Believe it or not, all of these pictures are zoomed in the same amount, but then you have like Gepard, who looks super far away, and then Anaxa here looks super up close. And we have of Berkut. If anyone ever played Fire Emblem Heroes, there's this one line that the original Berkut would say, because in Fire Emblem Heroes they had alternate versions of a lot of the characters, and Berkut had like a dancing one and a possessed one and whatever, but the original Berkut had a voice line when you tapped on him that would say like, "My uncle is owed all the respect in the world," or something like that. And whenever I hear his English voice actor in anything else, I always say to the character, "Say my uncle right now." Fun fact. Anyway, thanks Ian Sinclair for voicing Berkut. This video is about Honkai Star Rail. Shut up, Xynthia. Okay. First character is Anaxa. This character is going right into the, he scares me a little bit, because Anaxa's just, he's very smart. I don't dislike him. I really like him as a character. He's funny. He kind of makes me laugh in game because of how, I don't know, he's kind of crazy. He's very smart, very intelligent, but a little unhinged. And I think that's funny, like, in game. But like, if I met someone like him in real life who's like, I'm gonna take out part of my soul to leave this message, I would be a little intimidated by that and would probably be like, you know what? No. Some people would willingly sacrifice their souls so he could do that, of course. But yeah, he scares me a little. He would also just like yell at, no, I don't think he'd yell at me in the classroom. There's a different professor on here that would probably yell at me for my stupidity. And yeah, I don't know if he's not really like that necessarily, but the destroying your soul to do certain things, or just destroying your body, I don't know. Like, I'd probably be very concerned for him, but I would be too afraid to approach him about my concerns. Maybe I'm like one of his students. That's a weird universe. That makes it sound like I should not be even considering him. Like, what do you mean my professor? I'm considering my professor for marriage? Huh? I just thought of like a really stupid anime title. You know the title of that manga or anime or whatever that's like, my little sister can't possibly be this cute, and it's like, my professor can't possibly be a marriage candidate. Anyway, but yeah, overall, Anaxa, he scares me a little. I think it's just the pure genius combined with the pure madness. Second character, Argenti. Ooh, haha, he definitely goes in this one. This tier I made with Argenti in mind because I would be very interested in Argenti, I think. I mean, I am currently. Like, he's gorgeous. I feel like he would be very sweet and very kind, and like the way he compliments everyone, I would just be like, wow, you're so amazing, and you're like a beautiful man, and I'm so interested in you. And then he'd be like, I only care about the beauty. Maybe he would take a partner or a spouse or whatever, but I don't know. He kind of gives the vibe of someone who'd be like, no, I'm looking for a drilla. That's the only thing that matters in my life. And he does care about other people, obviously, in the game. I just also get the vibe of him rejecting people because he's just following a drilla. I would probably confess my love to him and he would be like, I'm so sorry, you're a beautiful soul, but I must reject you because I am looking for the beauty, and that is my one and only goal. Okay, Arlan, I'm gonna put him in my son. I know he's probably about the same age as Asta, but I think it's, in the English at least, being voiced by a woman who's trying to sound like a boy, which is fine. I think it's the way his voice is done in the English, but also just, I don't know. He kind of seems like a child. It could be the height, because I think they use the same model for him and Yanqing and Misha. Like, I think they all have that young, short boy height, and I'm like, I don't know. For that, you go into my son category. I will protect you from Asta's whatever her requests, and I'll take care of Peppy. I don't know. Aventurine. Oh boy. This is funny because when I did my Genshin tier list, I put Kaveh in the hand in marriage tier, and I know so many people compare Aventurine and Kaveh because they think like Aventurine and Dr. Ratio are very similar to Kaveh, and I'll hate them. However, Aventurine's not really my type. We can be friends. He can give me advice on how to gamble. How does one gamble well? You're just gambling. If he wants to throw more at me, I'll take it, I guess. I don't know. That sounds really weird. I think it's probably because Aventurine's a little more sly and cunning than someone like Kaveh. Kaveh's kind of a boy failure and pathetic, and I love that about him. But I'm not really attracted to him as a character. I'm just kind of like, yeah, Aventurine. Like, he's very useful. Love putting him in my follow-up attack teams where he can be the sustain. He works very well. This isn't about kits, though. This is about personality. And would I marry this man? No, I would not. Okay, skipping Berkut because I'm just gonna, can I just put him at the bottom here? Oh gosh, why is it scrolling down? Oh, I cannot. Okay. I cannot put him at the bottom, so we're just going to leave him there. Blade. Blade is another one that goes in the he scares me a little category, because if I saw a man like Blade, I would be like, wow, that is a beautiful man. But he scares me. He's just got that aura. I think I would learn that he's like a wanted criminal in like multiple worlds and whatnot, and I would be like, hey, so not for me. That's a little frightening. You know, we're just gonna leave that alone. He would scare me. Okay, Boothill. Boothill's a difficult one because I think overall maybe not my type, but he's kind of my type. Cause I don't know, something about him being a robot that's so weird. I don't know. It's just cyborg, I guess. Oh, this one's hard. You know what? I'm gonna put him in not my type, I guess. Caelus is next. I guess it's pronounced Caelus. I was saying Caelus for like the first year, I think, and then I heard someone say Caelus, and I was like, oh, is that how they say it? Oh. Because I was going based off the Latin pronunciation, because fun fact about me, I took Latin for like 8 years in grade school, so I'm gonna put him in not my type, but we can be friends. I don't know the age of the Trailblazers. I feel like a lot of the characters in these types of games, like HOYO-verse games, but even just, I feel like these kind of anime-esque games in general, I'll look at the character and I'll be like, oh, the character looks about 20, and then they'll be like, they're not drinking age. And I'm like, not drinking age according to which country? China? Japan? America? But I'm just gonna put him in not my type. I love our Trash Panda main character. So funny. He'd be goofy. I think we'd make chaotic friends. Like, we'd be a good duo. Don Heng. I don't have Don Heng and Baibaru Lune on here because it's the same character, just 5 stars. So I just put Don Heng, and Don Heng encapsulates all 3 versions now of Don Heng we're gonna have. So Don Heng, I'm gonna say I can see it working out because, yeah, I like Don Heng a lot as a character. He was probably one of my OG favorites. I remember there was a time when I was going to main Wind 4-star Don Heng because I thought I wasn't going to be able to get Blade, and I was like, I need a Wind DPS, and if I don't get Blade, I'm gonna get not get Don Heng, I'm gonna use Don Heng instead. But Blade heard me say, if I don't get you on the 80th pull, I'm going to main Don Heng, and he was like, no you're not, and he decided to come home on the 80th pull. Don Heng goes, and I can see it working out because I feel like we have quite a bit in common, enough in common that we would get along really well. I don't know, I'd be like, you're dragon, cool. I really do like him as a character, and I feel like he and I would get along really well because we have enough in common. Dr. Ratio. He's kind of like Anaxa. He scares me a little, not like in game. When I'm playing the game, of course, I'm like, teehee, funny Professor Man, why is he dressed like that? Like, imagine if your professor came. Anaxa's clothing is a little, you know, different. It's like, not like weird. It's just a little different than what I'm used to seeing in my professors, but it's like, it's a full outfit. Dr. Ratio's wearing like half an outfit. But anyway, if I got a question wrong, he'd throw chalk at me, and like, I don't want to have chalk thrown at me. I would not show up for his class one day and he would like expel me. Okay, I don't know if he would do that, but I would say like, I don't understand this math equation, and he'd be like, that is super basic. How do you not know that? 0 points. Throws chalk in my face. Get out of my classroom. Gallagher. Ooh, I really like Gallagher. Actually, this is a good one. I have some concerns. Is he real? Who is Gallagher? Like, is he a real guy? He's very attractive. He's a cool guy. Like, do I marry the man? And then as soon as I go back to like reality in Penacony, he's just gone. Gepard. I'm gonna put Gepard in. I can see it working out. I like Gepard. He is kind of basic in some ways, but he's a nice guy. He tries his best at art. He tries his best at singing. He's a sweet guy though. He'd be very protective. He'd be very loyal, I think. So, but he's a green flag. So yeah. Jiaoqiu. Ooh. When I first saw Jiaoqiu, I was like, I don't know how much I vibe with this character, but I kind of want the male Foxian. He's our only male Foxian character still, right? So I was like, I mean, I want Foxman. And so I pulled for him, and then I accidentally got him E1 when I was pulling for his light cone. Don't ask how that happens. There's a video about that actually. You can just go watch that. He's grown on me a lot, and his story, like he took a poison so that when they tried to eat him, it would weaken them. Something like that, but it also made him blind, and that's why his eyes are closed. I love Jiaoqiu though. I really like him. He grew on me a lot. I think I'm gonna put him up here. When I was thinking about where to put him earlier, because I think about these tier lists before I actually do them. I was like, oh, I'll probably put him here, or maybe even not my type, but like, I feel like I can't in my right mind do that. Also, he's in like every single one of my teams. What am I supposed to do? Like, I'm loyal to this nihility character. Jing Yuan. They give me 2 good ones back to back. Who's they? I put the characters in here. I'm gonna put Jing Yuan up here, and I'm gonna put him in the, I'm gonna put him up here, and I'm gonna put him in front of Jiaoqiu, because Jing Yuan is my OG 5-star limited character that I got, but I still don't have another lightning DPS that I play. He's the only lightning DPS I've ever used, and he's probably the only lightning DPS I'll ever use. I'm tempted to build Moze, but it's Jing Yuan. He's just the coolest. Also, he's really smart and strategic, but he doesn't really boast about it, and he's actually really gentle as well as authoritative. So, time for the master stroke. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. So, he's also just a green flag, you know? Like, he's had his rough past. He's also like 700 years old, so he's like kind of an old man, but like, we won't worry about that. He likes to take naps. I feel like a nap with Jing Yuan would be like the coziest thing ever. I just know this man has like a great bed. That sounds horrible. I sound like I'm setting myself up for like getting censored. But like, he's a general. He probably has a lot of money and he probably has like the best accommodations the Luofu can offer. So I'm just saying he probably has like the coziest, comfiest bed, especially if he likes to nap. He's like I said, he's just like a nice guy. He's a nice guy and he has a lot of good things going for him. Including the master stroke. Anyway, Luca. Love this picture of Luca. It's just his splash art, but he's doing the one, kind of. If people know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. Luca, for me, I'm gonna put him in my son, because he's a little young, in my opinion. Luocha. Ooh, he's kind of a difficult one because I feel like we don't know that much about him. He seems like a nice guy, but he could also be pretending to be a nice guy. I feel like we still need more Luocha lore. I need to know more about him. What's in the coffin? Probably an Eon, but like, I'm gonna put him in I have my concerns because I feel like I need to know more about him before I make a hard and fast decision. If we're talking, I've been put in the universe of HSR and I meet this man, I would have my suspicions, and I feel like unless he told me everything about his past life, I would not want to even go out on a date with him. So I have my concerns. Misha is going to be my son as well, which if we were talking the grown-up version of Misha, like the actual Trailblazer dude who grew old and died on Penacony, yeah. Oh yeah, Mikhail is the original name. Okay, not that... When I look up the watchmaker on the Honkai Star Rail wiki, it pulls up the guy in the wheelchair, like the dead watchmaker in the wheelchair with the dream bubble, and I'm like, not the dead one! There's no good... Oh, for Tomorrow's Journey is the light cone that he's on. Yeah, he looks so good in this light cone art. Okay. Moze, where should I put him? He's kind of a difficult one. I really like him because he has the same voice actor in the English as Kaveh, so he's got that going for him, and he is actually the last 4-star we have gotten in the game. Currently, when I'm making this tier list, Moze is the most recent 4-star we've gotten, and that was like almost a year ago, because I think he was released in September, and we are in August. I feel like... Moze's just so funny to me. Like, I feel like he would scare me a little at first, but then I would warm up to him quite a bit, because he's just kind of socially awkward. Because these three, I feel like I wouldn't even dare approach them, or it would be very difficult for me to get to know them because I would just keep my distance. I feel like Moze, for some reason, I would not keep my distance from him, and he would probably stab me. So maybe I am naive. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I have no self-preservation skills. He also doesn't strike me as someone who really cares to get married, though. I feel like he just wants to fight all the time. I'm the shadow. Oh, he's so difficult. I'm gonna put him in not my type, but we can be friends. Because he's actually attractive. Man's got a nice looking chest, we'll say that. Actually, you know what? I'm interested he's not. That makes sense to me. I mean, we could be friends as well, but I feel like I would have a crush on him and I would tell him how I feel and he would be like, sorry, I have to focus on trying to assassinate Fei Xiao. If you know the lore behind that, you know what I'm talking about. But like, or he'd just be like, I'm not looking for a relationship. Even though he cooks and cleans, like he's a male wife, right? Mydei. I feel like people would expect me to put Mydei in the he scares me a little, and they would be right because he probably belongs there. Bro just has his whole muscular body out on display for us. And like, what am I supposed to do about that? That would intimidate me so much because I'd be like, he could snap me in half. And I might thank him for it. What? Who? So would he scare me? Yeah, he probably would. I'm sorry. He's a little... I love Mydei a lot, and I feel like people kind of mischaracterize him as someone who's just like a brute who wants to beat people up, but he's nice. We've seen like a softer, nicer side of him. I think I would be too scared. Phainon. Ooh, Phainon is another one who grew on me a lot, but I feel like he hasn't grown on me as much as Jiaoqiu. Maybe he has. I'm gonna put him in I Can See It Working Out. Maybe top of I Can See It Working Out, though. Because I really like Phainon, and I could definitely see it working out. I can also see him as the kind of guy who just wants to be friends with everyone, but like the way he talks to the Trailblazer sometimes, I'm like, what are we? Also that like dating sim looking video that Honkai Star Rail made with Phainon and viewer perspective, like, because are we supposed to be the Trailblazer or are we just ourselves? Like, I was just like, what are we throughout that entire video? I was like, by the end I was like, what did Star Rail just give us? Did they just give us a whole, I don't know, dating sim But I really do like Phainon, and I feel like the reason I put him in the top is because I feel like I would marry him more than these two. Like, I would choose him as a marriage candidate over these other two. Does that make sense? Do I have my concerns about him going through 33 million cycles? Maybe a little bit. He's been through a lot, but I feel like power of friendship can heal him, or the power of love, whichever one it may be. Sampo. Now, I have some concerns was made for Sampo. Like, there are elements of Sampo I like, but I think just because he's such a scammer, like, bro just wants my money. I don't think I could see myself in a relationship with him. Like, I don't know. Sunday. I love Sunday. I don't care that he tried to, like, take over all of Penacony with a dream in the name of the Order. He was misguided by my least favorite dude, Gopherwood. So he goes in hand in marriage. I'm a normal Sunday fan, lover. Of course, I'm as normal as every Sunday fan out there. I love Sunday. He's actually very sweet and very nice. Like, even though I was kind of being joking about it, I do think he was just led astray by Gopherwood to think what he was doing was right. And he had to confront that he was wrong, and he did. And he's moved on. I think it would work out so well. Like, I would be accepting of him. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if I would forgive him as quickly as we did in the game. I feel like we forgave him very quickly. But I feel like if I saw the way he was trying to change the way he is in the game and the way he's trying to find where he belongs and who he's supposed to be, I feel like that would convince me enough, and I would be like, yeah, and then I would fall in love with him. Actually, story is probably I fell in love with him before I figured out he was evil. And then I was like, ugh, I can't have these feelings for an evil guy. And then he's like, I'm not evil anymore, and I'd be like, whew, okay, let's get married. Yeah, I just feel like he and I have a lot in common. These two really do look alike. What the heck? What is this? I'm the villain, but I'm also the good guy. Maybe that's it. Like, half villain, half good. Would I touch the feathers? Maybe. Okay, Welt. Old man Welt. I'm gonna put him in I can see it working out. Don't ask any questions about that one. I don't know. What is he, 81? People make that joke that he's like 81 years old. He's not that old, right? Like, I like Welt a lot. He's a dad figure. What? I like Welt a lot. He's kind. He has dad vibes, but like, I'm not attracted to him because I think he reminds me of my dad sort of thing. It's like, I know he would make a good dad because he kind of already is like Caelus and Don Hung and March's dad. Oh yeah, he's also Sunday's dad. Oh, that's so weird. I'm not marrying... Sorry, Sunday, I won't marry your father. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. But like, I feel like Welt is another one of those green flags, and he would make a good husband. He would. Isn't he already married and has a kid though? Isn't that part of his lore? We're pretending that that doesn't exist in this. In this universe, he's single, okay? And last but not least, we have Yanqing, and he goes in my son as well. Like, if I'm marrying Jing Yuan, then Yanqing is obviously my son. That is just how that works. So, yeah, I think that's it. This is the tier list. This is what it looks like. What are your thoughts? Where would you rank the Honkai Star Rail men according to my tier list rankings? Or if you have your own tier list rankings for the HSR men, you can let me know what those are and how you would rank them. With all that said, I think that's it. So if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And if there's anything else you want to let me know down below, you can do so in the comments, whether it be who you're saving for or what tier list ideas you might have for the future. With all that out of the way, I will say goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.